A very good evening to all dear students of class 8ABC. I hope you all will be safe, happy, fine, healthy in your residence. Your parents and other family members will also be safe. I pray to God and then I start my topic. We are right now in chapter number 2, and I think we are about to finish the chapter approximately, or by today or by tomorrow we will finish the chapter. Okay, I have discussed a lot about this chapter, about subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, theory of paramountcy. Okay, everything I have discussed. Then setting up a new administration, then I discussed it also. Okay, yes, approximate 1 or 2 days work is there. Setting up a new administration. Okay, I was reading that this paragraph. Then the second paragraph I had to start that from 1772 a new system of justice was established. Okay, the judiciary system of India in the modern format was established in 1772 by Governor General Warren Hastings. Each district was to have two courts. Underline all these points, very important. Each district was to have two courts, a criminal court that was called Fauzdari Adalat and a civil court that was called Diwani Adalat. Now in a rural area you will hear two words. One is Fauzdari, where the criminal matters are dealt, a court where each district court is usually divided into two parts. One is Fauzdari court, second is Diwani court. Fauzdari court is mainly related to criminal affairs, while Diwani court is mainly related to civil affairs. What are civil affairs? Like the dispute of land, like the dispute of some robbery, or like the dispute of some money stealing, or like the dispute of some corruption. All these things come under a civil court. Maulvis and Hindus Pandits interpreted Indian laws for the European district collectors who presided over civil courts. Okay, the collectors who were who were above the civil courts of a district, they were the main decision maker. They were the main justice producer people, and in that work Maulvis and Hindu Pandits used to assist them. The criminal courts were still under a Qazi and a Mufti, but under the supervision of the collectors. The criminal courts were under the governing of a Qazi or a Mufti. No two words are there. Qazi means a judge, a Mufti means a jurist in the Muslim community, responsible for expounding the laws that the Qazi would administer. Okay, but under the supervision of the collectors. Then the trial of Warren Hastings, painted by R.G. Pollard. Okay, this is a famous painting. The name of the painting is The Trial of Warren Hastings. Okay, when Warren Hastings went back to England in 1785, Edmund Burke accused him of being personally responsible for the misgovernment of Bengal. Then a famous political philosopher named Edmund Burke, he filed a case against Warren Hastings in London, and he found that Warren Hastings was personally responsible for the misgovernment of Bengal. This led to an impeachment proceeding in the British Parliament that lasted 7 years, and an impeachment procedure was also adopted by British Parliament that lasted approximate 7 years. Okay, a major problem was that the Brahmins Pandits gave different interpretations of local laws based on different schools of Dharma Shastras. Now, what was the another problem? The another problem of judicial system was that Brahmins Pandit gave different interpretation of local laws. Now the Britishers were not so professional. They were not so aware of our rules and regulation or social system. So they used to take the help of Brahmins, that what have been written in your Dharma Shastra. Suppose that some particular person committed some mistake, So now the justice or the punishment used to be given according to the norms of Dharma Shastra. But the Brahmins who were the professional, they used to misinterpret. They used to, misinterpret the conditions, and so this thing usually becomes personal for those people. To bring about uniformity in 1775, 11 Pandits were asked to complete a digest of Hindu laws. Then, just to uniform all these rules and regulation. Suppose that for a crime, a particular Pandit is explaining something another from Dharma Sutra, another Pandit is explaining something different for the same punishment from Dharma Sutra, while the crime is same. Suppose that one person stole 1 rupees, another person also stole 1 rupees. So when a Pandit was called and asked to tell what is the legal activity, what is the legal action that has to be taken against such a kind of thief, then that Brahman or that Pandit used to misinterpret the data of Dharma Sutra. Okay, on the place of him, when another Pandit used to be called, then he used to interpret the data according to his own point of view. So this difference was available there. So to end that difference, in 1775, 11 Pandits were asked to complete a digest of Hindu laws. Okay, NB Halhed translated a digest into English. By 1778, a code of Muslim law was also compiled for the benefit of European judges. So these things were done, okay, for the betterment of the justice or for the better understanding of Indian rules and regulation from the point of view of European judges. Under the Regulating Act of 1773, underline this one, very important. Under the Regulating Act of 1773, a new Supreme Court was established. Okay, now the Supreme Court that we find today, the roots of this system we can find to the we can find from the roots of the Governor General Warren Hastings. Okay, so a new Supreme Court was established, while a court of appeal, the Sadar Nijamat Adalat, was also set up at Calcutta. Okay, and an appellate court named the Sadar Nijamat Adalat was also set up in Calcutta. So the first Supreme Court of India, okay, was established in Calcutta also, and at the same time a court for appeal, okay, named Sadar Nijamat Adalat, was also established in Calcutta. The principal figure is an Indian district was the collector. So the collector, right now contemporary DM district magistrate was at that time it was called collector. So collector was the principal figure in an Indian district. As the title suggests, his main job was to collect revenue. Who will be a collector? One who collects something. Then what was the thing that was to be collected? Revenue. One who collects revenue and taxes and maintain law and order in his district was called a collector. Okay, and judges were to support him. Police officers and darogas, daroga means sub inspector, okay, or inspector. Daroga means inspector. Okay, so police officers and darogas were also to assist him, were also there to assist him. His office, the collectorate, his office was called collectorate. Even then these words are using daroga, collectorate, collector. Okay, all these words are also in fashion right now, became the new center of power and patronage that steadily replaced previous holders of authority. Okay, the company army. Colonial rule in India brought in some new ideas of administration and reform, but its power rested on its military strength. Okay, colonial rule in India brought in some new ideas, administration and reform, but its power rested on its military strength. Okay, although there were different kind of administrative reforms that were made at that time, but mainly these reforms were concerned with what should I say? Where I am? Yes, the principal figure of Indian Eastern Collectorate. Okay, military strength, but the main figure was military. The main strength of British East Indian Army was military. The Mughal army was mainly composed of cavalry. Mainly in Mughal army, what was found? We can found horse army, and cavalry means horse army. Horse army. Horse means ghoda. Okay, horse army. Sawar, trained soldiers on horseback. The soldiers that are trained, and when they used to sit on horseback, they were called sawar. And infantry, cavalry and infantry. Infantry means foot army, like military. Okay, uh, on foot army is called infantry. That is padal sainik. Okay, foot soldiers. They were given training in archery. Archery means, that is called, what should I say, nishanebaji. Okay, tirandaji, and the use of the sword. They were being trained in archery and sword. The cavalry dominated the army, and the Mughal state did not feel the need to have a large professionally trained infantry. Okay, the cavalry dominated the army. uh, but in the battlefield, usually it was cavalry who used to destroy the army of enemies. So, foot soldiers or infantry soldiers were not given very much importance or training. The ruler areas had a large number of armed peasants, and the local jamidars often supplied the Mughals with pedal soldiers. Okay, so a huge jamidari system was also available that time, and these jamidars used to support Mughal with pedal soldiers. With infantry. A change occurred in the 18th century when Mughal successor states like Awadh and Benares started recruiting peasants into their armies and training them as a professional soldiers. The East India Company adopted the same method when it began recruitment for its own army, which came to be known the Sepoy Army. Ab now see, in 18th century means 1700 plus. Okay, then in 18th century some important changes came, like now the late Mughal emperors started recruiting the peasants into their army. Okay, and they started giving them professional training also. The same method was adopted by the East Indian Company. Okay, it began to recruitment for its own army, which came to be known as Sepoy Army, and the infantry of British Army used to be called as Sepoy Army. Okay, from the Indian word Sipahi, the Indian word Sipahi. Okay, meaning soldier. Now these some important meanings have been written: Dharm Shastras, okay, Shawar, Muskat, and Matlock. Okay, so now when you write your notes, write these points also: Dharm Shastras, Shawar, Muskat, and Matlock. As warfare technology changed from 1820, the cavalry requirements of the company army declined. Okay, but from 1820, the war technique was changed by British East India Company. So now the cavalry was given less importance. This is because the British Empire was fighting in Burma. Why? Because British Empire was fighting in Burma. What is Burma? Burma is current Myanmar. Afghanistan and Egypt were where soldiers were armed with musket and matchlocks, and along with Myanmar, British East India Company was also fighting in Afghanistan as well as Egypt, where soldiers were armed with muskets. Muskets, you'll find the you'll find the meaning in this box. A heavy gun used by infantry soldiers, musket, and matchlocks. Matchlocks, an early type of gun in which the powder was ignited by a match. Okay, the soldiers of the company army had to keep pace with changing military requirements, and its infantry regiments now became more important. Okay, So these things, these changes that were taking place at that time. In the early 19th century, the British began to develop a uniform military culture. Okay, in early 19th century, the British people started to develop a uniform military culture. Soldiers were increased subjected to European style training. So in the in early 19th century, it means 1800 plus AD, the Britishers started recruiting Indian constables or Indian people in their own style, and they started to train them according to European style training. Okay, so that is sufficient for today. We will finish it tomorrow. So that is sufficient for today, and meet tomorrow. What is your homework? You just start solving exercise. Question number 1, question number 2, question number 3. Solve these 3 questions. Question number 1, 2, and 3, and show it to me. What is your homework? Solve these 3 questions 1, 2, and 3, and show it to me. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Take care.